Okay. Hi. Jamie, again. That's Marigold. Hi, Marigold. You say hi? You say hi? Yeah. Oh, you found the microphone. Yeah, now you're going to chew on it. Awesome. Guess we need to put up one more. One more. Yeah. You are a persistent little goat. Okay. So we're going to paint. And as promised, I am going to show you how to do a barn board background. Now, as you will see, I do not have any paint on my palette or paper plate, but I do have 3 brushes. We're going to make some lines and fun stuff with all that. And my paint is sitting here, blank canvas. So the easiest way I have found to do this, and here's my paper towel, and we have a cup of water. There's Buttercup, and there's Cece. Yeah. The easiest way I have found to do barnboard is to put your paint directly on the canvas. All right. So we want it to be mostly a whitish color with a couple of like fun colored streaks. So I have black, a brown, and a medium gray color, and white. And we're just going to sprinkle some paint. Boom. Like legit. Sprinkle the paint right on there. Some brown. Okay, open. And we're going to do some gray. And finally the white. Now this is what we have so far. Look at that Picasso. That's a Picasso masterpiece right there. We don't even need to do anything else. I'm just kidding. We're going to totally do something else. Okay, now we're going to add a bunch of white. And the thing you need to remember about this, and everybody knows I have treats today. See, I brought the goldfish. So, there's going to be a decent amount of waste with the paint. So we are going to get our decent sized brush, like a 3/4 inch brush, maybe an inch. And we're going to have our paper plate handy. All right. And we're going to start at the top and we're going to bring the color down. And you want to make, if you want sideways board, then you want to go the other way. But I want long board for this one. And you want to do long brush strokes. And you're going to get all these like fun streaks of color. Oh, don't worry, we're going to blend it a little bit more. So now you can kind of see the barn board appearing. And I'm just like doing a couple of swipes, long strokes like that. And then wiping off any excess. We can save that for if we have a spot where we want like, you know, a little bit more color, a little more brown, a little more something. We can kind of find it on our palette. I see you, Cece. The little one in the chair. Her name is Cece. She is my newest baby. She's about 4 months old now. 3.5, 4 months old now. My other 2 goats are a year and 3 or 4 months. But my new one has blue eyes. I wanted a blue-eyed baby goat. And this year I got one. And she's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And she was raised on a bottle right from the get-go. The breeder that I go through does that on purpose to make them more people friendly. So they're very used to people touching them and loving them. And there we go. All right. So I think this is actually coming along quite nicely. So all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom. And we're gonna make sure we leave some streaks. We don't want to keep going because then we're gonna blend all the color and it's just gonna be a gray, just a big gray mess. So we do have some fun. There we go. Some fun streaks. You can see all of that cool. Now that, if you could leave this completely just like this and it's one giant piece of barnboard. Has all the cool lines and different colors. But I'm going to show you, how to, I'm going to rinse the brush. How to make it so that it looks like a fence, like a barnboard fence in the background. All right, so we're going to rinse our brush, dry it out a little bit. I mean, it's still damp, but not super wet. And now we're just going to kind of start, hold on. I feel like I keep getting paint all over my face. Sorry. So we're going to pick where we want the boards to kind of end and come together. And then we're going to just make a line with our brush. And now you can see right there, that's a board and that's a board. All right. So now over here, we're going to start in a different location on the edge of what that board would be. And now we have another board right there. You can see the line. You'll be able to see it better in a minute. Then we're going to start up higher. And you can totally do more than one, like if you wanted shorter boards, kind of a thing. There you go. And then I am going to rinse the brush again. And then we're going to start a new little row. So because this one's so high, I feel like it should have like a second board down here. So the same row. We're just going across. So now we have this board, this board, this board, this board. You'll see it in a second. Then we're going to finish up just off the edge of that one, pretty much right where our first board started, and continue our fence. All right. So now because this is wet and I don't really want to do cardio today, I mean, this is what I mean by cardio. I don't want to wait for it to dry. I actually did one already that is dry. That if you remember, I did it like a couple of weeks ago, it feels like. And it was not dry because it was so like humid that day. So this is that one. All right. This is a board where they come together. This is where they come together, come together, come together. I will show it to you better in a second. So with a pointy brush, we are going to get it damp. And we're going to go into the black paint on our canvas. No, on our palette. I lied. Sorry. And we're going to go into the black, but then we're also going to like dull it down just a little tiny bit because we don't need it full on black, but we want it pretty dark. We're going to start by doing our line across here. And it doesn't have to be a perfect line, because when two boards come together and they've been kind of worn a little bit, like barnboard kind of has, you know, they're going to have some little like pieces. It looks like barnboard already, and I haven't even put the nails in yet. Look at us go. All right, we're going to do another one across where we did our line. And we'll give it a couple of little where it's worn. And I know, you're welcome. You're welcome. My goats are over there. I bet if I shake this. Be nice. If you're nice, I'll give you some. Here. They would follow me to the end of the earth for these. I don't even know why, but they love them. Huh? Boop, 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 boop. You want some too? The chickens like them too. Here, toss them over. Here you go. Oh, Buttercup realized I'm handing out treats. Here she comes. And now we have 3. Okay, here. There you go. All right, that's good for a minute. Mommy's going to paint some more. All right, so this is where we left off. I did add some more paint to my brush. I wanted to see my baby. Cece, Marigold, Buttercup. You gonna eat my finger because it had salty stuff on it, huh? Yeah, it had salty stuff on it, Mom. Be nice. We didn't drop any. Oh, we did drop one. You're right. We did drop one. You're welcome. All right, so let me do this. Marigold. Be nice. Hey. Whatever. They're still getting used to each other a little bit. Especially, this is like this when there's food. If there's not food, they actually do really get along. All right. Boards. So now we're going to go our vertical strokes. All right. We still want it nice and dark. Kind of find our line. Make sure I'm not running my finger through it. And if you have a, sorry, I stopped talking for a second. I was totally focused. If you have a paint marker, you can get them on Amazon. You can get them at the Walmart. You can get them at pretty much any craft store that has paint. It would be easier with this, but the lines would be much darker. Like they would be the black lines. If you want black lines, have black lines. I'm just going with like a super darkish gray, not quite full on black. But you would get a more uniform line if you used the marker. And bring that over a little tiny bit. All right. Dude, I know. It looks awesome. I know. And we still have little nail holes to put in. I'm very excited that I'm teaching you this, that you're learning. I wondered forever, like, how did they do that? And then one day I was just playing around and I'm like, well, that's a good way to do it. Let's try that. And it comes out really, really good. The people in my classes, I teach sip and swirl classes. I've taught them how to do this. And now everybody can do a barn board background. Look at us go. Look at us go. Girls, be nice. We have chickens. I have a bunch of chickens over there. I have some chickens over there. I have rabbits over that way. I got a whole thing going on. The ducks are in the river today. I'm trying out microphones so that y'all can hear me better because there was some comments about the river noise. So we're going to add our nail holes now. Now, nail holes do not have to be perfectly round, or I would do it with the other end. That's a trick, I know. But each board is going to get a couple of nails in the ends. And they don't have to always line up, and they don't have to be perfect. Like, see? You don't always get the nail in the right exact spot the first try. Come on. Any good contractor will tell you that. My dad's a contractor, actually. All right, so one little nail, one little nail. Oop, and we touched that one a little bit. So he has an extra little space where he's worn out, where he rotted away from the nail a little bit. And this one's just going to get one here and one here. I feel like this could be like almost the end of a board because it's pretty long. But that's, I know. It's really good. It's really good. Look at us. Like that is a barn board background. Now in front of this, endless possibilities. Endless. I can show you what I have that I like brought out with me that I did in front of this the last time I did one. But essentially, there's a barn board background. Okay? I know, you're welcome. All right. Now let me get the one I'll show you. Oh. So, watering can, some like purple flowery daisies, little bit of grass growing, like you're sitting, like this is sitting next behind with a fence behind it. I mean, and it could just be flowers. You don't even have to have this. You know, just do some nice stems and, you know, maybe a little grass at the bottom. Just do some grasses with a butterfly, like anything you want. You birds, you know, just try to keep everything to kind of a scale, like that this is the fence behind it. And not like a massive fence, you know, like try to keep things to kind of a scale. All right. So I hope that you enjoyed this one today. And if you want to see me paint something in front of my barn board background next time, that's going to be in the next video. So thanks for hanging out with me and my pets. And come back and see us again next time. Thank you. Bye.